Was that a sneeze?
Yeah.
Bless you.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
Excellent. Nice to meet the two of you. I think it's the first time, I believe.
I've talked to you in DMs before.
Yes.
Oh.
And I believe you've
Sorry.
responded to me once or twice, but like
Yes.
you've communicated with a lot of people on the internet, so it is no offense if you don't remember either of us.
I tend to come around to remembering, but I do. As you mentioned, I do talk to a lot of people. So. But yeah, thank you for thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
No, yeah, we
Although it is not. Yes, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say we pride ourselves, even though we're a podcast that talks oftentimes about drama or about VTubers, we try to give everybody a fair opportunity if we can. So, you know.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We don't believe that a lot of people do give that opportunity. So, yeah.
Not always.
Okay. So,
would you like me to
okay.
Would you like to introduce yourselves to me?
You go first, Mizu.
I just go by Mizu. Right now I am going by Mizu Tamari. We have talked before on my old MizuhanaOshibe account.
Cool.
And
Good
I
talks,
don't...
hopefully?
I wouldn't say it was necessarily too productive, personally.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
We should preface...
Hopefully this one will be more productive.
Well, yeah, we should preface that both of us have read your stuff for multiple years. So we followed you.
Thank you.
At the very least for multiple years.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, yeah, I mean, like, you've written some comics that I think a lot of people deeply enjoy.
Thank you. I love them too. Love my comics.
Yeah, for sure. But I think there's just been a few times where we've observed, like, you know, you are a good, we do believe that you're good at what you do, but I think sometimes you get a little too bogged down emotionally. And really, the main reason why I was talking, because, like, I was told by one of your fans who also talks to us, they're like, oh, Mary's getting really down and this is just really sad. And I was like, okay. And so I was watching, I was like, well, hold on a moment. Some of this doesn't sound very right. Especially... No,
probably doesn't. If there's one thing about me is that I do tend to word things in a not always the best way. Sometimes I'm good. Sometimes I'm pretty bad.
No, yeah. I mean, like, I can understand that as somebody who was diagnosed at a young age with autism. It is kind of difficult sometimes to word things. But, you know, I re-listened to the stream and some of it, like, confused me because, like, the main thing that kind of, like, and you said that your problem was that I called you ungrateful. And I think the reason why is, and Mizu hasn't really had a chance to see the screen, but I wrote down notes, but, like, the big problem that I kind of have is you have in what many I guess, like, compared to most young indie VTubers, a pretty sizable audience. And I
do. By all accounts, I have a big audience.
Yes, and, like, I mean, like, is it as big as perhaps maybe Gagura or maybe some of the VShoujo girls? Probably not, but, like, I would say, you know, if you want to compare it to most of the other VTubers that exist, or even some other corpos, you probably have one of the larger fan bases out there. And I would say that your audience didn't really start when you decided to become a VTuber. Your audience kind of already followed you around on the internet because you're pretty famous at doing your writing and creating comics with the help of your artists. So I feel like you already had, like, a decent audience that followed you around. And you being a VTuber kind of just expanded further into, I would say, the anime industry as a whole. So when you said that...
One small correction, which may or may not be entirely relevant, but just on the off occasion that it might be, do you mind if I just make one slight statement on
go
that?
right ahead.
So it is true that I've had an audience that follows me around. The audience that watch me now are not the audience I debuted with. It is entirely different.
Okay. And
I don't know if that's relevant to you.
Well, you say whatever you feel like you need to. I'm here to listen. How do you feel like? How do you know it's not the same audience? Like, do you know every single person that I guess explain what you mean by that.
Okay, so there's like 3 or 4 people maybe that are like carryovers. But I switched a lot. So my original audience were more American. I streamed in the late evening European hours, which is around when we're talking now. And now I stream at I think it's 4 a.m. American hours.
Okay.
Plus I got an entirely different audience for a variety of reasons. Honestly, it's not that relevant. It's just it's a noticeable difference. I went from a mainly male audience that came from my comics to a mainly female audience that were introduced to me through websites such as Bilibili or my collaborations with other male VTubers in the field. And it's very shifted, I would say, but it doesn't actually matter for the topic now, maybe for what I'm going to say later.
I mean, I guess it kind of matters. I mean, overall, I feel like it definitely matters. So you say that your audience has changed. Do you like how do you? I mean, there's personal feelings, and I do agree that like personally, my audience from when I started streaming is a little bit different. I have core people that have stuck around for the 5 or so years I've been streaming. But how do you know that it's entirely different? Like, is it just because of all the places you pull from, or?
It's my approach to VTubing, I would say. I think, well, I don't know if you know much about how I started out, but just on the off occasion that you might not, I started out as one out of a pair of VTubers that our studio produced, which was me and then Lumi.
Yes.
Who is from Finland.
Yes. I do remember that.
Even our designs are very much made to kind of fit together and look nice next to each other. She's my cousin, and we've been doing stuff for a long time together, even before VTubing. But back then it was mainly a male audience that came from my comics.
Right.
And what I have now is mainly a female audience, and mainly, it's a very different vibe. Like, I went from mainly sharing an audience with Lumi to streaming in an entirely different time slot and mainly having my own dedicated audience. We don't have too much audience overlap these days, but there are still people who are loyal and come watch both of us, and we have a nice community. Some of my viewers go and watch her. But maybe not the most relevant to talk about, so I apologize for steering us away from the main topic.
No, you're good. You're good. I guess the only reason why I ask is because when I was listening to you today, you were multiple times you just lamented that multiple people kind of just left you by the wayside, and you feel abandoned by the followers that you have.
I wouldn't say I feel abandoned. I have very lovely followers who I love very dearly, and I tried my very best during that stream to make it known to them that I wasn't upset with my fans and that I love the fans of mine that are there right now. I think my frustration lies rather, and I do want to preface this by saying again that I probably shouldn't have said any of this on stream. I know that's rich. I think a lot of people have criticized me frequently for being too loose-lipped, not thinking too much before I say things, but I was in a very frustrated moment for another reason, which I can go into a bit later.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I mean, I yes, 110% agree. That is not something you should have said on stream. And I mean, you probably know all the reasons why it's bad to vent yourself out like this, because you are going to have somebody that is watching that either might clip it or take it out of context. Thankfully, we're able to talk so that I actually can like get what you're trying to say across. But like
I do agree with you. Just to follow my thought line of what I said before.
Yeah.
My frustration isn't so much with my audience. I love my audience. They're all perfect. And honestly, if I never grow from this point on, I would still be happy. I would still love my audience and be very happy. I think my problem is that it's the fact that it's not in a vacuum, you know. Like VTubing and being a content creator doesn't happen in a vacuum.
No.
It happens on a wider scene. So one thing that I have is that I have a lot of followers on Twitch. I have so many, in fact, that I find it to be almost ridiculous the amount of followers I have compared to the amount of people who actually watch me. And my mind, when I see that follower count and then I see the amount of people who watch me, and the ones who watch me are lovely. I love the ones who watch me. They're the ones who stayed, right? They're the ones who actually like me, and I love them for that.
Yes.
I tell them every day. So no complaints about my audience. They are perfect, just the way they are. It's just more like, it's like, imagine that many people. So I said on stream, I counted on stream, like compared to how many probably watch me per stream, right? So like a few hundred. Good numbers, excellent. Many would love to have that. Not ungrateful at all. Although I do understand some people might see it as a bit ungrateful that I even care about numbers when I have that amount of people watching me. But it's more like 278,000 Twitch people clicked follow. And that is the exact same amount of people who then found me uninteresting and left. And I've had like, there have been a few times in the past where I have been privy to why people left. And sometimes I don't always feel like the reasons they get upset is completely fair. There was one artist who I really, really enjoyed having as part of our community, who was a wonderful artist and a really, really sweet person who I really, adored having as part of our community, who talked with the others, organized things. They were a wonderful person. And they got upset at me, very, very upset at me one day, because I was in a collaboration with another VTuber, and I was talking about how I started getting a lot of, at that point, I had started getting a lot of fan art. And I talked about how wonderful it is that I get so much fan art. That I was really, really happy, because in the past, the only people who would post to my fan art tag were people I commissioned, They would post and use my fan art tag. So back then, those were more or less the only people who posted to my fan art tag. And I was so over the moon that now people were doing fan art without me having to pay them for it. They were just doing it because they love me. This artist was incredibly offended that I would say such a thing. They were very, very offended. I to this day, I don't fully understand why that offended them to that extent.
And I yeah, so that was something that I remember you mentioning. So
yes.
The follower thing is something that I was thinking of, because like, I mean, obviously that you really don't just have 300 people watching you when it comes to streams, and I know this specifically from watching YouTube. My average right now is between 60 to 200 on a day when I'm talking about something exceedingly interesting, and that number
but these people cycle in and out, right?
Yes, people cycle in and out all the time. If I look at the end of my streams on YouTube, typically, I'll have like 200 CCV, but I'll have like 1,000 views. That means that like 1,000 different people clicked on the stream at one point, but 200 people were in the stream.
I think the problem comes when I compare it to other friends of mine, who either started alongside me or started way after me, and who did their very best, and they deserve all of the popularity they have. They are amazing people, each and every one of them. I look at their numbers, and then I see far more growth than I ever have. Substantially higher amount of people watch them, substantially higher amount of people like them. Their growth happened over a much shorter period, whereas I have stayed at the same level since I started, basically. To me, that is not, I mean, it's not like, again, this isn't me saying like, tune out. Why? Because I've seen new people come in so often, like so many new people in my fan base have phased in, and so many old people have left. But I have been unable, I've been incapable of matching so many of my friends in having growth, let alone any growth at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are what you saw today was a building frustration within me, like, well, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong as a streamer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly am I failing at? Is it the games I choose to play? I try to play the new trendy games, like I was playing Wukong. You know, I'm trying to play the things that I think my audience might be excited for, and maybe older audience members might be excited to see, maybe new people might be excited to see, like Zenless Zone Zero, you know, etc., etc. I try to do that. I try my very best to make jokes and talk and do things. I try to promote on different platforms. I try to make YouTube shorts. I try everything, and but like I fail to succeed in getting anyone interested in my streams. Well, I get, you know, I have my community. I love my community, but it's this growing doubt about my own ability to entertain. Why is it that my friends, why is it that people that were like growing alongside me at one point just shut up beyond me? And I've had people try and promote me, for an example. I've had very big streamers very graciously choose to collaborate with me despite me not matching them at all. Like they would gain nothing from collaborating with me. They still do it, and they're so sweet for doing it. But at the same time, it's like I feel bad because I can't offer them anything in return. I'm not able to, like I'm not able to give them any boon for it. And it just comes across like I've seen people say things like calling me a leech for collaborating with someone who is bigger than me, and that sucks. It like really burns. It's like, oh, so now that's another reason why these people are never gonna come watch me, because I'm a leech now, right? It's like it's this endless cycle of I'm attempting my very very best. You know, people are trying to give me help. I'm trying to make shorts. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to stream every day. I'm trying to do my very best, and yet none of it leads to much tangible results in terms of growth. And it's not even that I care about growth. I'm on a fixed salary from my company. I don't need money or any of those things. It's just it's like a symptom of something I'm doing wrong, and it's just like eating at me, you know?
I,
I must be doing something wrong because my like so many friends of mine found it like by doing a lot of the same things I'm doing, found so much growth, and yet when it's me doing it, it fails. And it's like a weird obsession of mine. Why exactly is it that nothing works when it's me doing it? You know what I mean?
I do. I think the problem that like I know everybody's going to look at is because again you do run it, at the very least from what I've seen. You don't have to say yay or nay to this, but you run a successful company that is going in a good direction. So I think
That's a good company.
Yeah, and like you're not hurting in terms of like physical needs. So
No,
in a
not at all.
way, you don't have to work a 9 to 5 job anymore. I mean, like you're streaming and what you're running.
I'm probably working more than that though, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but like what I'm saying is you don't work the boring job anymore behind the desk. You work the
No,
job
that's true.
that everybody else dreams of and everybody else like dies or would
Absolutely.
kill to have.
I'm happy every day. There's not a day that goes by where I do not feel nothing but pure joy for the position I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that you might see that as a contradiction because I seem to be upset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have this passion. I want to be a streamer. I want to be a good streamer, right? I want to be someone who can, who gets to join my friends at Among Us without being the weird one that gets invited, even though he's like not able to bring anything to the table. I want to be one of the funny anime characters that people think of when they think of VTubing, right? That's my passion. That is my wish. And although I recognize that I have a lot of other wishes in my life that have been fulfilled, it's like should that mean that I then should not have this wish that I would then like hope for? Should I not be frustrated when this passion of mine does not seem to work out?
I think well I guess what does a successful streamer look like? Because here's the thing. Again, like in terms of me and in terms of like a lot of other people that are smaller, hell, in terms of like maybe even a lot of your fans, they see you as the successful streamer. They see you as the guy that is able to stream every single day and do for you. And again, like, in terms of what I consider a successful streamer, it's monetarily fit so that you don't have to worry about things. It's well, spiritually and mentally doesn't really fit into it, but it's just like you're physically taken care of from what you do. So
No. I don't view myself as an unsuccessful streamer.
Okay.
I view myself as a streamer who, well, I don't really, it's more like I view myself as a person who is so lucky that I'm able to dedicate this amount of time to streaming. I love streaming. It's the best thing in the world. I love playing Final Fantasy for hours and hours with my viewers. That's not my frustration. My frustration is with the fact that I see other people having started, in some cases after me, in some cases around the same time as me, grow to these extravagant levels. And most of them have. Most of the names that I can remember from 2020 have grown massive audiences now. I don't want to name names, right? Because that's a little awkward.
You've named them in the stream already, so that's fine.
Who?
I think you mentioned some of the VShojo characters. Maybe
I think I mentioned
ninja
characters.
Niji Sanji.
Niji.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, that was more in relation to fandom. It's not quite the same as this. But regardless, what I think I brought up the companies in a general sense. And maybe I brought up a few names as examples of I would love to invite these people to collab without being the odd one out,
I believe
I think that's what I was trying to say.
I think I remember you mentioning specifically only names that have in the past collabed with you, not people that you wanted to bring on.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. I would like to invite them more to collab. But again, it just comes across as this awkward thing where I get looked at as if I'm like taking advantage of the fact that these people. It makes me not want to invite them, right?
But who?
And that sucks because I love these people.
Who calls you that?
Who called you that? Like different people around the internet.
Okay.
I've seen people, tag me in tweets and stuff and talk about me on their Twitter accounts and such.
Okay. But are they like people with real do you like literally have like VTubers from big agencies or like VTubers with a bit of prominence like calling you a leech because you decided to stream with one of your friends?
I would never know. I would never know. And I also don't want to get in on this topic. If that's okay.
No, that's fine. But what I'm saying is like
I don't want to speculate whether people talk badly about me.
I'm not asking. No. I'm not asking you to speculate. I'm saying, have you seen big people talk about you that way, or is it only small shitheads from Twitter that nobody should care about?
No, it's like people around. It's a discourse, and the reason why I got upset today is because a tweet appeared yesterday on my timeline on my For You page. Twitter does this odd thing where it like sends me tweets now that from people I don't follow. Not even that anyone I followed retweeted it. They just send it because I don't know, it's related to me or something. Does that happen to you?
Where it sends me random tweets from people that I don't follow. Only on my
Yeah.
For You page. And I try to avoid the For
Well,
You
yeah,
page because
that's
it's toxic.
probably a good idea. But yeah, it came up on my For You page, right? Because that's the default one when you open Twitter. And I saw that it was a tweet from someone who likes me, right? It was a viewer who likes me. And they brought up a picture of me and then a picture of another VTuber. And they said something to the tune of, it's hard being a fan of these two this year. And then I'm like, okay, I don't see why it would be hard to be my fan. I'm pretty inoffensive. I feel like I try my very best to not, get involved in any drama and not get, not being in any conflict with any VTubers in public or anything like that. Right? I don't join hate bandwagons. I don't, whenever someone gets called out for something, I don't join in on it because I just want to focus on good things, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to participate in negativities to the best of my ability. I don't want to do. So I was confused. Why are they mentioning me next to this other individual? And they. So I clicked on it. I got curious. I clicked on it and I checked the replies. And other people were also asking, why Mary? And then they say, well, people, there was the Argentina thing.
Yes.
But then there was also another thing which I didn't expect. And it was that apparently some people had been upset at me over, apparently a sizable amount of people even were upset at me over the tweet where I said that I was trying to reassure my fans, don't worry, I'm never planning to graduate. Why would I? Well, I have no reason to, right? I don't want to, I'm never graduating. And they usually feel so happy when I say that. It's like a reassuring thing. I am, as you mentioned, I'm a very fortunate individual. I don't really need to worry about a lot of the things that most creatives would probably need to worry about. So I have the freedom to say that I'm never, planning to graduate fully from my activities as a VTuber because of how much I enjoy it. People had gotten upset at me over that. And based on what I could then gather from looking around a bit, people were upset because someone else was graduating around the time when I said that, and they saw it as insensitive.
I see.
And I then was like, well, why would they see it as insensitive? I didn't know that this other person was graduating. I'm kind of in a bubble. I don't actually participate that. Like it may seem like I know everyone and talk to everyone, like publicly and stuff, but I don't actually participate that much. Like if it's from a company I'm not part of, nor am I doing any active business with, I wouldn't know if they're graduating or not. I'd know after they graduate. I don't know. If it shows up on my Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that upset me because it's like I feel like I can do everything with the best of intentions without wanting to hurt anyone, with just talking to my viewers and just trying to say something sweet to my viewers, and then it will inadvertently frustrate other people, and then it's more people who don't want to come and say hi to me or engage with me, and I guess I don't know how logical you feel this is, but like I guess the next step for me would be, is this then another situation where they're gonna get upset at their Oshi if he or she ever tries to collaborate with me because I was insensitive about this person's graduation. I try my very best to do the right things and not get in trouble, and just be in it for the pure love of it. And that's hard to actually do because people will take something I said and they will apply a context to it that was never intended, and then I'll just have to deal with that because there's nothing I can really, like, I can't confront these people. I can't go and talk to these people about it. And if I make a tweet about it, then, you know, oh, Mary's talking about drama again. So at that point, there's like nothing I can do. I can just let this like weird rumor swelter out of control. And if I start replying to people, then I'm also putting myself in a bad position because that's going to start showing up on other people's timelines because I'm replying, because other people are following me. So I can really say nothing. I can say nothing, and I can do nothing about people who are spreading these things about me that I was like being insensitive about someone's graduation. To the point where it's widespread enough that my viewers start finding out about it from others. I got another DM today during the stream where someone told me that yes, they had also seen that quote unquote a lot of these fans were upset at me in like these different groups and whatever. And that hurts.
Yeah, no, yeah. I get it. As somebody that has had false and untrue things said about them, it totally sucks. And you know what? The biggest lesson that I feel like not everybody internalizes that much, and this is a lesson that I have learned mostly by watching Chris Chan, believe it or not, is you are on the internet. I know you expressed to me privately that you don't like how open the internet is. And trust me, I kind of get it. Sometimes it really sucks when you want to say
I love
something.
it when I'm getting, I love it when I'm getting retweets on the comics, but when I get taken totally out of context, it's not as fun.
Yes. No, yeah. And it's just like, and this is something that like I've kind of observed from you over the years where people, where you'll say something or do something completely innocent. Like you'll have a comic come out and it's just like, nobody cares about how cringe it might be. If it's cringe, it's funny, and somebody's going to like it, and that's really all that should matter. But I've noticed that like you let it get to you, and I understand it again as somebody that grew up with a more emotional side, because I was raised primarily by my mother. I get it. Emotions sometimes are hard to suppress, but and again, you are 20, 30 times bigger than me. So this is something that you have to worry about even more than I do. You have to stop caring. And I know that sucks. Trust me. It sucks when people say falsehoods about you or spread things about you, and it's just like, it's not true. But it doesn't really help trying to, because going out there and trying to debunk or try and push something around isn't going to fix it. Trust me, I've tried. And again, people just don't care. They're going to say whatever they want to say about you till the end of time.
May I give an example on something?
Okay.
So one thing that happened today, actually, is that I made my tweet, which was in relation to this graduation matter. And then someone quote tweets it and says, oh, kind of like how you did with Pippa, when you called Pippa trailer trash.
Oh. Yeah, somebody told me about that.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I said that Mari and Pippa Pipkin are kind of like the trailer trash princesses of VTubing. And I thought that was a really funny thing. I was laughing. I think they're both cute and lovely VTubers. I don't know. I don't really know that much about like Pippa's content. I know a decent amount about Mari's content. And I've said that to their faces and I've laughed about it. And I don't know. It's probably not that funny, though. I realize now because a lot of people have kept bringing it up to me and kept trying to use it as like me shit talking them and me like trying to manipulate drama between them. Which the literal thing I said was Mari and Pippa Pipkin are kind of like, you know, trailer trash girls. I would love to like manipulate drama between them and see them in like an MMA fighting match. You can say that's a cringe joke. Today I agree with you, but I might also be kind of biased because of how negatively that joke has been taken, right? That was never intended to be anything but love. Never.
Okay.
People call me Eurotrash. You know, I call myself Eurotrash. I find it funny. it's just I never saw the word trailer trash as anything but like silly shit talk. And you know, me like autistically saying it on a collab where they aren't there because I'm talking with Ethelstan and Ethelstan knows Mari Mari, and I don't know what I was thinking at that moment. It's definitely a mistake. I mean, I think we've all made cringe jokes with our
Yes.
friends when that definitely didn't land, right? Like
Yeah.
that was my worst moment, I would say. Ethelstan also called me autistic on that because of it. He called me out on it.
Yeah.
It's not like this just went by everyone's heads. No, like this was like, Mary, this joke doesn't work, right? Oh, that hurts, right? That stings. A dagger to my heart. I drag out the dagger and I take it on the chin, right? But like it keeps being brought up as like people are legitimately claiming that I was trying to create bad, you know, like bad blood against Mari and Pippa, two people who have never been anything but like nice to me.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. Why would the way why if I really wanted to manipulate drama between them, why would I say it in a public stream where 1,000 people are watching? That makes no sense. It was a cringe joke.
The issue
And
is
it's
a lot
been
of
a year.
people do. And I think that's sort of where a lot of your problems come in, is a lot of it is, I know me and my friends know me, therefore everyone else should know me. But everyone else doesn't. So everyone else
No.
kind of sees that and they just see, oh, Mary's being a dick because he's a big VTuber and he can get away with it.
I'm not a big VTuber compared to those two. They're far bigger than me.
I mean, like,
But I get, yeah, definitely, 100%. Like sometimes I'll be making a joke because I'm in a certain company, and for a second, in a collab where we're playing Fortnite or whatever, and it's been like 3 hours, and we've been blasting people in Fortnite, and we've been talking shit, and we've just been making stupid stuff and saying silly noises. And then, yeah, like I let down my guard. I don't think for a moment. For a moment, I think I'm in a private call with Frederick and Ethelstan. And then it's like some stupid fucking cringe joke slips out. That sucks. Yeah, I probably makes me look kind of like an asshole joking about two people who aren't there. Definitely.
mm-hmm.
But I do think continuing to bring it up as like a year later as some sort of proof that I'm a shit person, I feel like that's a bit over the line.
And that's
Like
just
I've
how the
admitted
internet works.
multiple times that is a cringe joke, that is a joke I shouldn't have said. But like if you stream every day for like multiple years, you're gonna have a few cringe jokes that you shouldn't have said too. I don't think that's like some. I think I'm only human, right?
You are indeed. But again,
Well, the issue isn't that you made the joke at this point. I think what the issue is you just constantly feel the need to defend against it when people bring it up. And it's like, no, if people didn't care enough to listen to your explanation, they're not going to care enough to listen to your second explanation or your third one. You just have to like let it go sometimes.
Maybe. I tried to let it go at the time. You know, I tried to defend myself a little bit. Then I let it go. I didn't bring it up. And now, a year later, I see someone directly quote tweeting me and talking about it again.
Yeah, and that's going to always happen.
And then they say that it wasn't a joke, and I should not say that it's a joke. They should just continue to spread this sentiment that I was being totally serious. I was trying to shit talk these two people and make people think bad things about them. I should just, even though that is so false and that was not at all what I'm saying, I should just not bring it up and let them continue to spread that.
Yes. 99% of the time, if you ignore it, it goes away.
But it didn't go away after a whole year. It didn't go away after a whole year.
Yeah, somebody's always going to bring it up. Exactly. It's not going to ever fully go away because the internet's forever.
I saw
but the more you bring it up, the more it comes back.
I saw that. Well, I didn't bring it up. They did.
Yeah, but then if you respond, if you start pointing it out, if you start talking about it, it draws eyes to it, and then everybody starts looking at it.
Okay, but like this is another person. The person who quote tweeted me is another person who has some following. So this person can just continue to totally unchallenged make the statement about me that is not at all representative of what happened.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah, it sucks. Listen, trust me.
That's
Mizu,
the internet.
Yeah, me and Mizu and our co-host who isn't here right now, we can attest that people say stupid shit all the time.
Okay.
It's going to live with you forever.
Right.
Unfortunately. Oh, go ahead.
So what about this situation, right? Under the person's tweet, there was a person who replied and said, "Wait, Mary really did that?" And then the person replies and said, "Yeah, he did." And then okay, I'm like paraphrasing, I don't remember exactly, but it was something to the tune of this. And then they said, "Whoa, that's a really shitty thing to do." And he wasn't even joking. So this is a person who may have, I don't know if they liked me, but may have had like at least a neutral opinion of me. And now they dislike me. So this sort of thing should just be let to grow without ever being challenged. What if people see me reply and say, "No, it was a joke," and then they're like, "Okay, let it go." They're not going to let their opinion of it be dissuaded. What if they look at it and see Mary isn't saying anything to this? That must mean it's true.
I mean, people are going to think what they're going to think. It happens.
Not always. People's opinions can change, no? Like that person was going to think what they were going to think until they saw that person's statement.
But how do you know that?
Well, I know that because I've seen it spread.
That's the thing.
I've seen people who didn't know about it now know about it and then have a negative opinion about me because of it.
But again, how do you know they really didn't know about it? That's the thing. You're like taking everybody on the internet at their word when you know for a fact these people are there specifically to get under your skin.
But they might not be. That person wasn't DMing me, wasn't talking to me. That person was just some person on the internet. They were never talking to me, so I don't think they were trying to get under my skin. They were just talking to the person who said that.
Who added you or quote tweeted you, as you said. They know you'll see it.
That person was quote tweeting me, but they were quote tweeting me to their followers. They didn't reply to me. And then other people replied to them and said, "Whoa, he really did that? That's surprising. That's a shitty thing to do."
And every single one of those tags you, because that's how quote tweets work on their website.
No, they don't tag me. Quote tweets don't tag someone who is quote tweeted.
The quote tweet does. That's how you see it.
It does not. I only see it because I click on the quote tweet and then see the replies to it. I don't see replies to a quote tweet about me. That's incorrect. Exactly. Yes. I'm talking about people who may have, maybe liked me, maybe had a like neutral, maybe had like kind of an opinion. I don't really watch him, but he seems all right. And now they think I'm a shithead because now they think I shit-talked a VTuber and was trying to manipulate others to go against them.
Yeah, you're chasing for the approval of somebody that all they had to be told was this guy sucks, and they immediately went, "Okay, he sucks. I'll never like him again." Do you really want that person's approval?
If that kind of thing spreads in that way, then if I reply, maybe they'll then next time say, "No, he said it was a joke." But if I never say it's a joke anywhere, then they have nothing to go by. They only have this other person's opinion to go by. At least if I reply and say, "No, it was a joke," then they have something, Then if they don't believe me after that, then like, fuck it, right? There's nothing I can say after that point. But like, at least I should say, "No, it was a joke," no?
How many other people in the space do you see replying to stuff like that?
I've seen other people reply to things being said about
them. How many?
How many?
How many? How
countless. Often? How many? How often? I don't know. There's countless people. I've seen people with bigger Twitter accounts than me reply trying to clear up rumors before. Quite a bit, actually. It's not true that people don't do that.
I'm not saying people don't. I'm saying people don't do it like you. And I'm telling you this for a fact.
Maybe once every 6 months or so. I do it way too often. Do you think that's because you notice me more compared to these other VTubers who you may not follow as much?
No, I follow a lot of these VTubers. I follow a whole bunch of people in the space. Anytime anyone says anything bad about you, most people have kind of a meme that Mary will show up about like the smallest things. You have a reputation for responding that other people do not have.
I guess, yeah. If someone says something about me that, if someone tags me in something, right? If someone replies to me saying that you did this or something, a lot of the time, yeah, I'll take it on face value and I'll say, no, I didn't, or no, it was never intended that way. I don't understand why I am seen as a bad person for doing that.
You're not seen as a bad person, but nobody wants to like see that all the time. You are by constantly responding, you are actively bringing negativity to your followers' eyes. Negativity that they do not want to watch.
So with that said, yes, I agree. I shouldn't reply to people for that reason. That's correct. That's correct. That leaves me in a conundrum, though, because what can I then do? You say, ignore it. It'll go away if you ignore it. But at this point, it does not appear to go away. This, as an example, this particular bad rumor about me, or let's say the graduation thing, that I was kind of being disrespectful towards someone's graduation for simply talking to my audience and saying I was not going to graduate, totally unknowing that this other person was graduating. In these sorts of cases, this sort of stuff spreads and continues to spread, and because it is forever left unchallenged. Because I choose not to talk about it, because I choose to never address it, it just spreads like wildfire.
But does it really?
It apparently did.
No, you see a couple people that'll reply to something and you'll say it's spreading like wildfire.
Well, I've seen that Pippa thing be brought up countless times over the years since it, maybe I don't really remember when it was. It was probably over a year ago. When it happened, right? I've seen it be constantly mentioned. There are people talking about it, acting like I'm some terrible fucking person for saying this. And I don't understand why that is the case. These are not people trying to troll me. These are not people trying to find me. These are if they wanted me to see it, they could tag me, but they don't. They just, they just let this color their perception of me. And yeah, that kind of sucks. It's not fun. It's not fun to be in a situation where I never intended any harm to anyone. And I don't think I caused any harm to anyone either. I don't think Marty or Pippa think I harmed them in any way. They both just kind of laughed at it. They laughed at me being autistic, but they laughed at it, right? And I never harmed anyone. I never intended anything. This is me telling a cringe joke, and still a year later, people keep bringing it up, on my tweets. That kind of sucks. It's not fun.
Yeah, that's the internet. That's going to happen forever.
That doesn't mean it doesn't suck, and that it doesn't cause me conflict. Which Lumi? Sorry. Your Lumi? You have a Lumi too? Okay. Have you never tried to talk to these people about it? Have you never replied to them? You've just never challenged it, ever? Really? You've never brought it up to anyone? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a good sentiment. And I do agree with it to an extent. I think where the trouble is that I don't really see it as that black or white. Yeah, it's true. I probably don't want people who, at the drop of a hat, they just instantly believe any rumor, right? But what about people who are a little bit more on the fence? What about people who, their whole friend group just think it's fun to talk shit and stuff, which is normal on the internet, I should say. They just think it's totally normal to talk shit and say whatever, right? But what if they are then in their friend group and this person likes me, but all their friends are saying that I did this thing, and I've literally never, and because I've never ever said anything about it, this person who might genuinely like me, they have no word from me on it. So
why does that
maybe
one
they're
person
just gonna
matter?
dislike me? What is that one? Because they all matter.
Yeah, every individual person technically matters, but if you spend your entire time chasing one person's opinion, you're not going to get anybody's.
It's not about one person. It's about many people. This one person is an example. This might happen in many friend groups, and because I never said anything, that anxiety lingers. That because I didn't say anything, because I didn't defend myself, people might think, well, the reason why he's not defending himself is because he actually did this horrible thing and he's trying to sweep it under the rug. And then, right? Like failed PR is a thing, like never ever addressing something bad isn't always the way, right? Like just letting everyone say, well, you can think what you want about me. I mean, that's fine in theory, I guess.
That's what a majority of people do.
I don't necessarily think it's true, though. I don't think majority of people literally never address any rumor or any statement about them. I think there's many people who address less rumors. But I do think that there are people who talk on stream. I've seen very big VTubers, bigger than me, address something that frustrates them on stream before, and it doesn't get treated in the same way as when I do it. That might be, I don't know.
Because,
that might be
like
a nuance.
I said, they rarely do it. I think that's something you're misunderstanding, is you keep saying, well, somebody else does it at least once, so you can't say nobody does it. Yes, we're aware. It's not that nobody does it. It's that a majority of people simply don't give it as much time and as much thought as you do.
Well, I think it's true to an extent. I don't think I'm giving it as much time as you seem to think.
You have released comics before under the Merryweather account and deleted them within 10 minutes because you got one negative comment. And you immediately make that is 100% true.
It is incorrect. I have deleted comments.
For some of them.
I have deleted comics because someone was talking negatively. Because there was a massive abundance in one time when I deleted the comic. It was because there were massive quote tweets, which was bringing a lot of harassment to both myself and the artist who had illustrated it. Quote tweets that actually ratioed the original comic. That were saying a lot of very, very nasty things. This is probably about 4 years ago now. This might even predate me ever becoming a VTuber. But yeah, there were times when the amount of harassment, this was during COVID, by the way, which was very intense time. There was a time where the harassment was so extreme that it was beginning to affect even our illustrators, because our illustrators are, of course, credited and tagged in each comic. And they were starting to get like people coming into their replies, their DMs, messaging them and saying a lot of very, very nasty things to them. There are situations where, yeah, those times I have sadly taken down those comics. It is incorrect to say that I took it down after 10 minutes because someone said one bad thing. That is not true. That is a very big over-exaggeration of what the truth is. And I haven't deleted a comic that I posted in years, by the way. That's also untrue, because the harassment kind of ceased. After a while, it went away. After COVID ended and all the kids went back to school, it went away. I don't receive any harassment on our comics anymore, no matter how cringe they are.
I'm going to have to agree to disagree on the not deleting it within 10 minutes.
I have never, I must say that I have no recollection, nor do I think it would ever make sense to delete a comic that our studio paid good money to an artist to produce, and that the artist also, properly wants up within 10 minutes. That makes absolutely no sense to me. That might be a thing that, that's an exaggeration that's been repeated on a Discord group chat at some point, and then it's like it's been repeated so much it becomes fact. I don't know where that comes from. Categorically, I really don't ever believe that's something we would do. I have deleted comics because of people like saying a lot of shit to me, or like quote tweeting and that coming in an uncontrollably large wave. That is true. There was one time where someone quote tweeted a comic we had, and they got 7,000 retweets on their quote tweet, and every single thousands of replies were just nothing but negative because our comic was quote unquote corny and unfunny. That's fair. You can find our comic corny and unfunny, but it gets to a point where, for the artist and probably also for me in that situation, it becomes overwhelming. And then we might say, yeah, probably best to take this down and leave it up on Webtoon, where people can continue to read it. The comics I took down are still up on YouTube, on Webtoon, all of the other platforms. Just Twitter was very toxic at that point. However, yeah, by replying to people and trying to reason with them, I brought more of that on me. That is also true. I should never have done that. And I don't do that anymore either. Not on our comics account. I haven't done that in years.
A specific thing about the comics or saying that you've done it repeatedly. It's just, this is something I have seen you do specifically due to how you're oversensitive and you take stuff too seriously. And this isn't something that was repeated to me. This was something I saw.
You saw me take down a comic after 10 minutes because it got one negative comment?
Yes.
You are 100% certain that this did in fact happen?
Yes, and there were many people calling you out for it. And
there were many people calling me out
for it. If I had my original Twitter, I could even show you the tweet where I sent it.
Within 10... Okay, show me.
No, if I had my original Twitter, you ended up replying to that Twitter. You ended up replying to that tweet I had made, and your fans mass reported me and got that tweet taken down.
No, my fans don't give a shit when I get criticism. Are you kidding? The comics fans don't give a shit. For real? I don't think they would ever mass report anyone. That's untrue.
I can tell you for a fact they've done it at least twice. To me specifically.
To you specifically? This does not sound... What was your account's name?
It was MizuhanaOshibe.
Do you have a profile picture you may have had at the time?
I wouldn't remember it at the time. I've been through so many profile pictures.
Did you say some nasty insult or something like that? Or were you literally just saying, hey, why are you taking down your comic after 10 minutes, you pussy? Did you just say that?
No, I thought I was very nice. I specifically said that I loved the comic. I thought it was funny, and I just thought you were a bit of a baby for deleting it so quick just because one guy was mean to you in the comments.
Okay. And then my fans mass reported and got your Twitter taken down for that.
You replied to it specifically. And your fans followed you from there.
Fair enough. I replied to it. And then you say my fans mass reported that tweet and got your account taken down?
Yep. And I'm not salty about it or anything. It's whatever. It happens.
Okay,
it's
that's
Twitter.
Fine. Yeah. So this situation is. I don't know. I don't. Okay, I can't speak to whether your account got taken down. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. That really sucks. But I've never taken a comic down after 10 minutes because there was one negative. I think my artist would get very like the illustrators that draw them and work hard on them would get very pissed if it was taken down after only 10 minutes because of one negative reply. I don't think that is the situation that actually happened. I think you may have said that to me. Maybe it went down after a few hours or something. That could have happened. If there was like an overwhelming wave of attacks on me. But I don't think it would have been, because after 10 minutes, like who even replies to something after 10 minutes? It takes a while for the tweet to grow. It takes a while for you to even be able to see it. Okay. No. Like it gets some 1,000 likes within 10 minutes, probably. Yeah, but like it doesn't get the level of harassment that would be required for me to take something down does not occur within 10 minutes. It usually takes a while. It needs to leave our community first, you know? I don't know. You remember it in a different way than I, but is it possible that we could move past this? I'm sorry your account got taken down.
Like I said, the account's not important. What I'm bringing up is that it just...
Okay.
It feels like you're just so oversensitive about everything, and it never stops.
Okay. So, on that note, I do agree. I think I'm very oversensitive. I think that it is oversensitivity to the point where it's a pretty big problem for me. Yeah. I think it is detrimental to my experience as a content creator. And I think it is detrimental to my viewers' experience in getting to engage and enjoy hanging out with me on my accounts. Yeah, 100%. I hate that part about myself. I think I hate it more than you can. I'm the one who has to live with it, man. Like I hate that part about me more than you can possibly imagine. And it's not so easy to just man up. It's like over time I try to improve. As mentioned, I haven't deleted a comic off our main Twitter account, our studio Twitter account, no matter how much. Like at some point I even started like making fun of the criticism or doubling down. There was the one time with like people were calling us out for doing this like goth girl comic. I don't know if you remember this. We were doing this. Thank you. No, it's not goth girl in the jug. It was this like goth girl gets an ugly like chubby boyfriend, or ugly or whatever, right? I don't think he was that ugly, but like a goth girl gets a chubby boyfriend, and that was the comic, right? And then people were saying like that it's wish fulfillment. They were saying that I got someone to draw that because I'm the one who has like a goth girl fetish and I'm, overweight in real life. So that's like my private fantasy and stuff. If it was my private fantasy, it would be a 6'2" tall jock dude, but that would be a different thing. That's an entirely different comic. But if it, let me see. Like there was these things, and instead of deleting it, that time I doubled down on it. I made multiple. I continued making the same comic multiple times just to piss off these people. And a lot of people praised me for it and said I got better. And I felt great. I was like, finally, I'm not seen as a pussy anymore. Wonderful. I'm not a weak pussy anymore. But it comes again in unexpected ways. It's like, so now I've kind of vindicated myself on the comic side, right? I don't take things down. I don't respond to criticism. I keep posting comics, and if people think they're cringe, they can say it's cringe, and we're just going to keep posting, right? So I've steeled my mind for that. But as a VTuber, it's different. As a VTuber, it's a different experience for me, and it's a different experience for multiple reasons. So it's like, let me think. For an example, as a VTuber, I'm not behind the scenes like I am with the comics. With the comics, it has nothing to do with me, really. I write a shitty meme, send it over to the studio, and the studio makes it, and I post it. And I can steel my mind against people calling it cringe because you know what? It probably is a bit cringe, but it's entertaining. Who cares, right? I've been through all that. I've tried to rise above it, and I've got it now, right? We have again. You can go check. We haven't deleted a comic in years. Hasn't happened. It has. It's literally not happened. But with VTubing, it's different because it's like if I do something wrong as a VTuber, or if I piss off people, or if something happens as a VTuber, it's like, well, then there's a chance that the community might genuinely dislike me. This is something that I don't think will happen with comics, because if people say that something is corny and unfunny in comics, then yeah, that's it, right? It's corny and unfunny. Like, well, if people harass us, okay, who cares? Because it's not like anyone's genuinely gonna like change their opinion to the point of hating us just because someone called us unfunny. So it's that fear doesn't exist for me on the comic side, but that fear does exist for me because I have my audience and I really care about my audience, and I don't want my audience to have to defend being a fan of mine because of some rumor that I never responded to. And you might say to me, yeah, it gets worse if you respond to it, but like it's not that easy to just let it go, especially because like in this situation, you can mention to me right now, Mary, you shouldn't talk about the trailer trash thing, right? It's stupid. You should let it leave. And then in my mind, I'm gonna go like, yes, this person's right. I should never bring it up again. I've already said my piece. I should just let it die. And if people keep bringing it up, they're gonna keep bringing it up. They're clearly not people who are willing to hear me out anyway. And then I'm gonna think that I'm gonna have steeled my mind for that. But then something else happens. And then I'm like, whatever else happens is going to be unexpected, and I'm not going to be able to apply it in the exact same way. I don't know if I'm explaining it right. I don't know if you understand. Okay. So can we talk about the whole I can't hold a conviction? What is this conviction I can't hold? Uh-huh. Yeah, probably not. Let me bring up a better example, maybe. So let's take a look at the Argentina situation, right? So I brought up the fact that there is this exploit on YouTube where you can use Argentinian currency to basically get red super chats for the cost of $1, right? I was trying to warn others because I had a friend who is a very, very small streamer. He's starting out, trying his best, and he was really, really happy one day because he got hundreds of membership gifts and several red super chats, and he thought, man, this is going to turn everything around. With this, I can invest more into VTubing. Maybe this person's going to stick around. Maybe it's going to become like a thing where I can live off it, and then they found that their YouTube channel got a total of, I think it was like $15 or something in total that month, or whatever it was. And this is obviously very dejecting of that person. So they thought that YouTube had an error in it, that like YouTube, okay, right, that they were trying to get in contact with YouTube support, and I DM'd them, and I was like, "Is it this thing? Was it in this currency?" And they told me yes, it was. And I said, well, I'm sorry to say, this is the case. This is what happened, right? And so I released a warning to other VTubers, and I worded it badly. I said, don't acknowledge any super chats in ARS. And then because the Argentinian community got very upset, they got very sad. They felt like I was undermining their support. I tried to reason with them a little bit, tried to talk to them about it, but overall, it came across to me like at the end, I changed my mind on it. Because to these people, just the ability to send a super chat was very, very important to them, and it wasn't really about how much the super chat is worth. It was more about how much it's worth to them because they want to send and support, right? So it changed my mind on it. So what I did is I deleted the tweet and I wrote an apology. And I said, listen, like I worded this badly, and I changed my mind on it. I don't hold that opinion anymore. Some people say I don't have any convictions because I did that, but like, what about times where I genuinely had an opinion change? Should I stick to my convictions even though I don't believe in them anymore? They might, but you also said that I shouldn't have deleted that tweet, didn't you? Yes. You said I should not have deleted it, that I again apologized for something. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't recall either of us saying you shouldn't have deleted it.
You probably just shouldn't delete it at all.
Okay.
Because that can also make it look like you're just snaking on, or just like going back on what you say.
It can look like you're hiding. Like, it's better to quote tweet it yourself and be like, I said this is why I said it. I don't actually believe it.
Yeah.
But if I leave it up, then people can share it and take it out of context and not show that I actually responded to it.
They can do that anyways. It's already been up. It's already on the internet.
Yeah.
Now all you're doing is you're deleting your side of it.
But I might do it. Yes, go on.
I was just gonna say, and I think this is something that maybe is probably the most important, is there needs to be a look into the optics of what you say. You need to very specifically think very long and you have to think about who the audience is and what you're talking about.
You want to know what's actually funny is I did have on that tweet. I actually had people read it over.
You had people read it over.
I had people read it over.
Who read your tweet?
I'm not gonna say who.
No, don't mention.
I'm not gonna
names,
say who read it.
But like, were
Who?
these people that were reputable enough that you trusted their opinion to a very
Yes.
high degree? Okay.
Well, I mean, they weren't VTubers, but yes, they were someone I trusted to a very, very high degree. Now, this person did say to me afterwards that, okay, they didn't, like, they should have read it more closely. They actually saw it in a certain light. They looked at it in a certain context, but then realized after that it was, you know, yeah, they made the same mistake as me.
Yeah, so here is the problem, and maybe this can encompass a couple of different things as well, because you talk about people bringing up problems from the past and constantly bringing up things. Sometimes that just won't happen if you don't make the tweet in the first place or don't say the thing in the first place. Because like whenever...
Yeah, I mean, like if I'd never made that cringy joke during that one live stream, probably over a year ago now, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'd never done that, then this would never have been a problem.
Yes.
But again, you guys try streaming to that amount of people for that amount of time and try not to have something cringe you said clip. It's pretty hard.
I don't really feel like size matters, because literally an artist can tweet a picture of a Brazilian Miku and now it has over 212 million likes and views on it, and I'm sure they never expected that many people would view their tweet at all.
No, not at all. But I don't see why that's relevant to what I said, though.
What I'm saying is, it really doesn't matter what the size of the audience is. If somebody sees something that they don't like out of you, they're going to clip it out of context, and it could be seen by people that you never intended to, and people that you never even intended to offend would be offended.
I was responding to you saying that the best way to prevent it is to never do it in the first place.
Yes.
What I was trying to say is it's not quite that easy to just never make a cringe joke.
Well, no.
But we're not talking about the cringe joke. We're talking about you adding on to it afterwards. When you have had time to think and you're trying to make it into a bigger thing than it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes I try to mitigate something and then it doesn't help.
And you shouldn't.
Because I didn't.
You absolutely shouldn't.
Okay, so all PR companies are worthless. Is that it?
It depends.
Most of them are actually really shit with dealing with the internet. And we've seen this repeatedly.
Probably.
Yes, repeatedly.
Probably, yeah. But like,
I would argue, yes, PR companies are useless when it comes to the internet, because they don't
so no one should ever respond. No one should ever respond to criticism online.
Look at what Mr. Beast is doing right now. A whole lot of nothing. People are accusing him of a whole bunch
of shit. He responded
to
criticism. He has responded to criticism before.
Well, okay, he is not.
Yeah, criticism he knew that he could beat.
Yes.
He can't beat this, so
but
he
like,
just didn't.
Like the
okay, but like, what about criticism where I'm being told, where people are saying something I said was intended seriously, and it's super easy to beat that. I just say no, it wasn't. It was a clear joke.
Because that's not beating that. That's something you don't understand. They're saying, in my opinion, you meant this seriously, and you're saying, well, I'm saying I didn't mean it seriously. That didn't prove anything.
Opinions, unfortunately, don't matter, because people are going to form whatever they want. And like again, when we had our own troubles, the moment we thought about giving any form of response, it got 10 times worse. And the only time it stopped is when our manager told us, spend a week away from the internet, don't do another podcast, don't do another stream, you do not say anything for a week. And then it went away. Do people still bring up the shitty comments that we say a year later? Yes, they do. But it happens so much less, and it's just one of those things where it's like, I have to deal with the fact that people are gonna lie about me forever. If I ever make it big one day, somebody may try and spread the lie that I said something. Is that gonna suck? Yes. If it hurts me financially, I sue the ass out of them or tell them to cease and desist. That's just unfortunately the world we live in, and that's the point that I'm really.
Well, I don't disagree with you on
that. That's good, but like that's the point that I'm trying to make is when it comes to optics on the internet, you either make sure that it's okay to press send on it, and I ask Mizu all the time, Mizu, is it okay to send this? Is it okay for me to talk on behalf of the three of us or the agency that we work for? And oftentimes he'll tell me, no. Get that out of your brain. That is an absolutely stupid thing for you to do. But like, if you send it and people get upset, just don't care. Unless it's so easily disprovable that it is okay to respond to. But most of the time, again, like the stuff against Mr. Beast sucks, but like he is doing the one thing that good PR companies will tell you to do, and that is say nothing and stop caring.
Yeah, I agree. It's better to not respond to it. We don't disagree on this, which is funny.
Well, I'm not saying
we also don't actually disagree that I am very hypersensitive and I struggle a lot with dealing with the internet. We don't disagree with that either.
No, I think that really the only thing here is that you have to learn to move past that. Again, like okay. I don't need you to get super serious, but you said that you don't identify with being autistic. Are you actually autistic?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you were diagnosed.
I have been diagnosed with autism by a doctor when I was a child. Yes, correct. Okay. But I don't like to talk about that publicly because I don't think people give a shit.
No, well,
it's my state.
It really depends.
I don't bring it up much. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. I have some frustration that people. Of course, I'm frustrated. People don't care, right? Of course, why wouldn't I be? But like, I can't do anything about it. So I just, at some point, I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to mention anywhere publicly, unless it's like in a situation where it's in a conversation that I choose to bring up. That I have been diagnosed with autism. I decided against ever, showing it anywhere because I realized people don't give a shit. So it's pathetic to bring up. I don't think it's pathetic for other people to bring up. I think it's pathetic for me to bring it up because people don't care.
Right. Well, the point I'm trying to say is, I don't know what kind of help you received in terms of growing up and dealing with that, but I know that not a lot of people
probably not a lot
that they need to cope with real life, and
I've had a pretty shit time. If you want me to be completely honest, but that's probably too much information.
No,
I haven't always had it the easiest in trying to navigate things. Things that I'm good at. I'm good at running a webcomic company.
Yeah, that is.
Even if you guys might disagree, because I deleted those comics back then, but like, that happens.
I would say that's not really indicative of you running a bad company. I would just say that's indicative of you being afraid too much of backlash and maybe being afraid of your employees, and that's a completely separate thing altogether.
So I think very purely, I want people to like me. I don't like it when people don't like me, especially over things that I never intended. It sucks, and of course it sucks, as you guys say. It's the internet. The world is how the world is. You can't control what other people feel about you all the time, and even if you do everything right, things can still turn out shit. And that's just part of being an adult. Is you gotta grow up and realize that. Now that we're having a conversation, logically, us three, right, having a conversation, I fully agree with you. I don't think that's untrue. If it was a situation where I was not directly involved and I was not, the target of it, I would also say don't respond to it. Never address it unless it's like becomes absolutely necessary, to the point where it's like directly, demonstrably hurting your brand. Don't respond to it.
Yeah.
But it's harder for me to be in the situation.
I know how you feel.
It's much harder, and it's hard when you're like sitting there and hyper focusing on something and you can't take it out of your head, and you keep seeing people, replying things to you, and there's this fear that if I don't say anything, if I don't do something now, maybe people who might legitimately like me might stop liking me because of this. If I don't do something, then maybe something I've built, something that took years to build up, might get destroyed because people just are spreading this thing. And now, logically, you and I can think to ourselves, it's probably not that widespread at all, right? It's all in my head. it's like a couple of tweets probably, maybe some Discord servers.
I would agree. I think a lot of it is in your head.
Yeah,
and
I agree. But just realizing that it is in the head does not always help, you know.
No, I'm not, and I'm not trying to say that. Again, I do believe that like there's a lot of extensive help that is not offered to people like us that need to learn how to cope with real life. That honestly puts us at a disadvantage. But what I am saying is you should seek to try and alleviate that pain from yourself, because it is toxic for you on a personal level, because it hurts you emotionally, and it is also toxic for people around you, because either people worry about you or it indirectly hurts them because they're not quite sure how to deal with your worries and fears. And so like it's one of those things where if you are interested in working on it and passionate about working on it and seeking it out, I do believe that it is something you can move past. But it's something that
I don't trust. This is probably going to be. Oh, sorry, I was interrupting you. Go on, please.
You're good. You're good. All I'm going to say is that like it's something that you have to move past. And
oh yeah, I agree.
I think that right now it's not too late for you to move past that, because I'd say you're still relatively a young individual. You can still like continue learning throughout your life. It's not cemented that you can't stop. But it is something that you're going to have to learn, because if you don't right now learn it, even at your big size, it's going to hurt you later. And well, more than it could have hurt you right now. I don't know if it has affected you in your personal life, but it
no,
can.
I honestly, I don't. It's not affecting my personal life. It's So I don't think this is hurting my career at all. I think, you know, if again, a lot of these things, if you just shut up for 2 days, it's gone, right? And then it gets brought up again later if I fuck up again, right? That's usually how it goes. I don't think any of this is fucking me up. I don't think it's helping me either, and I think it's putting me in kind of an awkward situation. And I think it is perpetuating, like it's giving people who probably want to just annoy me ammo to continue annoying me. I think the thing it's affecting most is just my mental, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I need to stop being a little pussy bitch. That's probably a good start.
You did say that on your stream, yes.
I did say that. I genuinely believe it. I think I'm a pussy bitch, and I think I need to man up. I think I've been trying. I've actually been trying very hard. It's just hard, you know, because it's hard to balance, because if I'm just on, if I didn't have, you know, so here's where it becomes hard, okay, to just level with you, okay, is that I have assembled an audience that are a little bit more, you know, they're softer, like me. They're an audience that sometimes neurodivergent, right? So many of them have autism like I do. People who are a bit more soft, people who don't really like the darker sides of the internet, people who want to have kind of a safe place. And a lot of people say, oh, you just want a hug box. Yeah, I would love a hug box. I love hugging, you know. What's wrong with that?
As long as it's not the only thing you're in. Because I believe that you can have a
you gotta challenge us, which is why I agreed to come and talk to you guys. I don't mind that you invited me.
Yes.
Hell yeah, I can talk and I can widen my horizon. But like when I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 and we're sitting and chilling and it's my audience and it's my chill time away from the company, I would rather it be like a cozy place. Maybe I don't want that many offensive jokes. Maybe I don't want like drama in the community, and maybe I want it to be like kind of a cuddly, safe space, right? Yeah. That's my preference. So when I have that audience and I care very deeply about them, I get very terrified of losing that. I get terrified of tainting that, which is ironic because me replying, as you say, is actually tainting it. It's actually, giving attention to that, which is actually harming that community that I have, or at least putting some, like it's making it noticeable. And when I, lose my cool and I have moments of weakness like I had today, that also harms my community, and I shouldn't do that ever. And my fear is that like I might lose that. I might lose those people. That's my fear.
Mm-hmm.
My fear is that I guess my biggest anxiety is that I'm not entertaining. I'm boring to watch, and I piss people off, and people don't like me. That's my fear.
Well, I would say that all creators, to some extent, feel that. But I don't think here's what I would say. I would say that it is healthy to question if you are still entertaining, and if you don't feel like you are to a little bit of an extent, evaluate why you're not creating what other creators are doing, because I do that all the time. The issue comes when you overanalyze and overdo it to the point where you're saying, well, I'm trying all these things and nothing's working. I'm doing all these things and nothing's working. People are coming in and I feel like they're just going to leave later. And that right there can breed hostility. Like today, you saw, I'm trying to remember what you, I wrote it down, but you like looked at a viewer and said, hello, viewer, I hope you don't leave me later, or something along those lines.
No, I didn't say that, but I did say something to that lie. What I said is, hello, you're someone who came from watching my YouTube shorts, right?
Yes. Yeah, something.
And
like
then
that.
I said, then I did say that, yeah, you're probably not gonna stay, because they usually don't. They get bored because I'm not a very entertaining streamer, unfortunately. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we're saying, is like that sort of mindless negativity when you have like a Hugbox community just doesn't vibe with them.
No.
You think I don't know that?
Sometimes with the way you talk, it's as if you don't.
Have I given that impression in our conversation?
The point is when you immediately, like, they come in and that's your first kind of reaction, that makes it feel like you don't realize how negative that is.
No, it was very negative. And I think even in the moment I was saying it, I also realized it, which is bad. Again, it's not that easy.
No.
I don't know if you can relate at all.
Again, as somebody who grew up autistic and spent 20 years of their life trying to push past the label, I get that. And again, you didn't get the same training that I did, so it's a different experience for you. But
no, I had to figure it out myself.
Well, you don't have to figure it out yourself. There are people that you can reach out to. I'm pretty sure that.
I don't trust them.
Well, I'm not saying that. The point I'm trying to say is, regardless, you need to learn to move past those barriers in your life. Otherwise, it will hinder you. If it doesn't hinder you on the financial side or with the side with personal relationships, it will tear you down first, and then it will tear other people down as well. And it's like, I've not gone through that, but I know it would if I let my thoughts eat me alive. So you can't let that happen.
Probably. Yeah, it's very negative and it's bad. I agree.
So
I should fix it.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that you like.
I'm trying.
Yeah, well, I do agree that you are trying. It's just you can't let yourself get to the point where you just break down on stream like that and do that, because like I 100% like if instead you just be like, I need to end stream, some things are going on, and then you say on Twitter, like, today hasn't just been the best day for me, that can be a lot different, and then people can come in and try and rally around you, because I have seen before where you've been like, this just hasn't been my day, and people are like, well, we really love you, Mary, please keep going at it, and I've seen that, and it's okay if you have a bad week. Trust me, sometimes I say in my server, guys, this is a shitty day at work, this didn't go the way I wanted it to. And people can rally around that. What people can't...
I think the problem is that it started out with me saying things that I didn't think were bad to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I got in that negative space of talking about things that I didn't think were bad to say, I was being honest. I was, talking about one of my concerns that I had. Then it spiraled after that.
And you got to manage that. You got to manage that. Again, it sounds easy. It's not easy, but it's the answer. That is the answer here.
I'm aware of that. The answer is to not do the bad things.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So, like...
I agree with you. Yeah. It's a bad thing to do. I wish I wasn't, I wish I didn't do that in that moment. Yeah. I wish I didn't, talk negatively about myself to my audience. I think that's a very bad thing to do. I think putting myself down in front of people who like me is a betrayal of the time that they spend watching my stream, and I hate that happened, and I never want it to happen again.
So what are you going to do then?
Well, I'm going to try my best to not do that again. I'm going to try my best to realize that I probably can't control the venting. I've controlled venting in the past, but like if there is the chance that the venting to my audience can go out of control, I shouldn't put myself in a position where that can happen.
Yeah.
I should, like, if there's a chance, if I'm feeling extremely negative about something, and I know that there's a chance that if I continue to talk about these kind of topics, that I'm going to say some things that I shouldn't say, about myself, about my feelings towards whether I'm entertaining or not, about, my feelings about maybe people are going to leave because I'm boring or whatever. If the fact that I got to that point today, that is a sign that I probably shouldn't vent in front of a public audience.
No, and
when it comes to rumors, well, the ideal is to not respond to people, even if what they're saying is categorically untrue, because I don't get to defend myself, because it's not going to help anyway. They don't care. So that's the answer to that one. And I think to most people, they probably think, well, you fucking moron, why didn't you think of that before? I probably did. I've probably thought these things many times in the past. But again, it's like it's easy to think now. Now it's over, right? I can look back and I can see what I did wrong, and I can say, yeah, I did this and this and this wrong. What can I do better to prevent that kind of thing in the future? And then I'll have a little bit more in terms of like knowledge and experience in how do I prevent myself from going down the wrong path again. But it's not always going to be easy. Maybe there's going to be a different situation where something happened, right?
I'm not going to say.
Maybe there's going to be. Maybe there's going to be a situation where, like in this situation, right? Like with the situation with the trailer trash thing, right? That audience is never going to like me anyway, probably, right? That audience is most likely never going to like me anyway. So as a result, it probably doesn't matter that much that I let them believe whatever they want to believe. So that's the thing, right? But like, what about if it's an audience that I do care about? What about if it's let's say let me create a hypothetical situation that I might have trouble dealing with in the future. Let's say I'm having a collaboration with someone, right? Let's say we're joking around, we're having fun, and then something happens. I do something that his audience or her audience or whoever it might be interprets as being like a secret dig towards them, or me being like kind of rude or joking about something that they felt like was insensitive to joke about regarding them, because maybe I didn't know something, maybe I didn't think about something, maybe I was Maybe I was, I don't know, for whatever reason, even if I didn't intend it, I managed to come across as very insensitive towards that audience in that stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do I do? Do I not address it then? What if they, should I not clarify myself? Should I just let them think what they want to think because it's the internet? What if I like that person's audience? What if they are also a nice, cozy community like mine? And what if I genuinely don't want them to feel bad about me? Maybe there's overlap between our communities. Should I not say anything then?
I think that you should aim to build up an audience that is healthy for you, if that makes sense.
Well, that's not really what I was asking, though.
I'm trying to answer the question. What you're saying? What do? You don't care. Like again, if people are going to have the predisposition to, on a dime, flip their opinion on somebody, they are not somebody that you want to be in your audience anyway, because you're always going to be walking on eggshells under the premise that if you're not a perfect person 110% of the time, because I believe that people can be less than 100% all the time. But if you can't be 100% consistent to some people all the time, they're just going to hate you. And your goal is just to not aim for those people. Your goal is to aim for an audience that will treat you well. And it may not look like you'll always get the people that you might think are the audience you want, but sometimes you filter out the people that you don't want as part of your audience.
See, this is a situation where I find it hard to agree. I agree in the situation I mentioned before regarding the joke I made, right? But I don't know if I agree in this situation. Because, like, what if they genuinely thought that I had intended this joke to be ill will, or that I was joking about something insensitive on purpose? Should I not say that it wasn't on purpose then?
I think...
Should I just let them believe it?
I mean, if it's a VTuber you're actually friends with, you would say it in DMs. I don't know, like, why
no,
you...
it's not about the VTuber. It's about their community. If they got upset at me in this hypothetical situation because they thought that I was saying something insensitive, and it got to be a thing where several of them who liked me before don't like me now because they thought that I was saying something insensitive on purpose.
I'm sure that VTuber would clarify with their community if you were actually friends.
If it became that kind of a problem, yeah. And if that audience doesn't care, fuck them. I mean, I know that sounds like very brutal, but like, people suck. You have to aim for the people that actually care about you. You know what I mean?
What if... So I should reach out to that other VTuber and then ask them to make a statement on my behalf?
I wouldn't say ask them to make a statement. If they're your friend and they see that happening in their community, they will make a statement.
They don't necessarily need...
If they're not making a statement to their community...
Maybe they don't see it.
Then why are you seeing it? If it's that big of a problem...
Because it's aimed at me.
Yeah, but if it's that big of a problem specifically from their community, why are they not seeing it?
I feel like you're putting this in a very, very black and white thing, but it's not.
How's it black and white?
Because you're saying that, like, no matter what, if I should never say anything.
That's never what we said, and I think we need to clarify that. I have actually clarified with you multiple times in this conversation. It's not that you never address it. It's that you specifically address it all the time when it's not necessary.
Yes, we've gone over that.
Yes, but now you're kind of like dragging it back around.
I'm trying... I feel like you're getting a little bit hostile with me right now. I'm only trying to, talk to you guys about what if this other situation happened? How would I then deal with it? Because what if it's a community that I like? What if it's a community I like that genuinely believe that I said something insensitive, which I never intended to say is insensitive? It would again be the exact same situation where I am saying I didn't say it with this meaning. But of course, according to you, if I say that, then it's not proof. It's just my own opinion of what I said. So should I not say anything in that situation?
Well, we made a bunch of the different clarifications to this already. If it's with the VTuber themselves, you clarify it with them. If it's with their community, there is no reason you should be trying to police their community, especially on their behalf.
It's not about police. I don't feel like it's about police. It's about, if I said something in some sort of collab, whether it be a group collab or something that these people saw as insensitive, and they genuinely felt that it was insensitive to say, then I should just wait and hope that this other person clarifies it. And if they don't, then that's just it. They'll just get to believe that. And what if it would make things better if I specified that it was not meant that way?
But at that point, you're not really asking us a question. You're saying it's going to be better if I do it my way,
I'm not
and we're telling you.
No, I'm trying to explain to you my thought process.
Yeah, but that's a necessary part of what you're saying, is that it will inherently be better if you do it your way. And we're trying to tell you
it will inherently.
How it works.
I'm not trying to say it will inherently be better. I'm trying to say, what if it happens that I make some joke that someone interprets as being insensitive, but I didn't mean it that way? Should I not clarify that I didn't mean it that way? That's the core thing of it.
If it's just a random person in the audience, no.
Okay. What if it's a group of people?
It depends on how big the group is.
Okay, so what if it's 20 people? Let's say 20
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
My personal friend Discord is 20 people.
Okay. You don't think 20 humans thinking I said something genuinely bad, and I could... In that case, I would want to talk to those people. I would want to say, hey, I didn't mean it this way.
Why do you care about that? Because I understand that I know how your brain works, because that's how my brain works as well. But
why I care?
Why are you so focused on the one or on the few when you have a massive audience? Again, I understand wanting to grow.
Because it's about me. If I can prevent it, if there's any way to prevent it, even if just by trying to clarify, hey, I didn't mean it that way.
But that's where our clarification comes in, is that you can't prevent it. You are seeking for a solution that doesn't exist, and we're telling you the solution doesn't exist.
Okay, so no matter what, this group of people, you genuinely believe that none of them would change their mind if I said that I didn't intend it to sound that way, I didn't know about this situation. You're saying none of those people would then change their mind on it?
It's not about if they specifically would. It's that you are asking to fight a fight that you will be fighting forever.
And it is
you are asking to participate in an endless war with every single person who ever has a disagreement with something you've said.
And to be honest, it is.
That's a pretty extreme statement.
Well,
no, that's what you're saying. You're saying, okay, well, what about this one group of 5? Okay, who cares about the one group of 5 or the one group of 20?
Okay, so I can understand if I'm like Hollywood level, right? Can't control your fans at that point. If you're Beyonce with 200 million, right? Then you probably shouldn't. But I'm not that big. I'm pretty small.
You have 270,000 followers. You are...
They're not active.
Well,
they're not active. Let's be honest.
Do you think that many of Beyonce's followers are active?
No, but I think a significantly higher amount of... I think that there are significantly higher amount of active people that follow Beyonce than me.
I think you don't actually understand the perspective.
This is a different tier. I mean, apparently I don't. It's just I don't view myself as being someone who's that big. If you're Beyonce and 200,000 people get upset at you, or if you're me, where it's like 20 or 200 people get upset at you, yeah, maybe it's worth making a statement at that point. That's what I'm saying. But like, if it's like one person for me, probably not. If it's like 200 people for Beyonce, probably not. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. If that logic tracks.
I just think that you're
I'll put
fighting
it this way,
more.
just to like slim that down for you, because I don't
Okay.
think a lot of people understand this. What if I told you that someone like Gargura, who admittedly is, I would consider the biggest VTuber, gets more
Sure.
views than every single daytime television program combined? All
That's
of them
cool.
together, more people
Yeah,
still watch Gura.
I don't think Gargura should make statements about small groups of people who dislike her. No, I don't think so.
No, it's not about her saying it. It's that is like people would think
I'm
of
not
daytime
Gargura.
television as like this is what people watch in their free time. But the thing is, what we used to think of as a large amount of people watching celebrities isn't really that big.
Okay.
In like the grand scheme of things. The number of like records Beyonce sells is hyperinflated by our perspective. You see way more people actually listening to niche VTubers sometimes. Not even like large major ones.
I don't actually agree with you on this. I think that is a
that
is a very internet centric point of view.
No, that's a statistics point of view. And I'm gonna have to just cut you off and say you're wrong.
Okay, you can think that. But
no, that's a statistics thing, and that's thing a lot of people don't understand.
I don't believe it's true that I don't know if you meant to say this, but I don't believe it's true that any VTuber right now is to the level of someone like, say, Beyonce. I don't believe that's true. It is true that public television doesn't get that many live viewers compared. Like sometimes the internet can come up and compete with it, but I do think it's a totally different thing, and you can't compare it in the same way. But that's a whole other discussion.
Beyonce, in total, every album combined has only sold 200 million records. Think about every single album ever combined, and that she is literally would be considered one of the biggest musicians ever.
Sure.
That
200 million albums actually sold. That's not views, that's sold.
Yeah.
Now combine how many times she's listened to on the radio across multiple nations.
People don't listen to the radio anymore.
People do. That's actually not true. There's many people who listen to the radio on the way to work, from work. I think you and I, we're terminally online. We don't consider it, but it is true.
Most cars now have internet access.
Most cars, no, not true. Most cars are analog. Not analog, I don't know. Most cars use the radio. I know that because I've seen cars going around. In Tokyo,
and most radios now connect to the internet.
In Tokyo, when I take the taxi, they don't have internet. They don't use Spotify. They use the radio. And
you
that's
can't
the
use
case
Tokyo.
in many countries.
It's an example.
Okay, how about America? I went to Alabama. Alabama had Ubers, and in those Ubers, people were listening to the radio.
Yes, people have radios in their car, but those radios have internet connection.
Exactly.
Those radios have Bluetooth.
But people are listening to radio
to their phones.
I think you are. This is a very interesting topic of discussion. We can talk about this a little bit longer, but after that, I'd like to go back to the main topic, if that's okay.
The point of the discussion and why it's even brought up is you have this very skewed perspective on how big the world you're in is.
Well,
you seem to think you're in a very small world. And
no, I don't think I'm in a very small world. I don't think I'm in a very small world. I think I'm a relatively small creator. That's the difference. I think there are people. Gogura, I think, is massive. Amazingly massive, wonderful creator who's got millions of people who pay attention to her. I think that's awesome. I think that there's countless others. Mori Calliope, wonderful musician. I've heard her being played at the konbinis in Tokyo, and she's doing amazing. I don't consider myself to be on the level of those people at all, not even near it. I'm a very small creator compared. I think that's where the disagreement lies. I don't think those people should ever give small groups of people who dislike them the time of day. I think that would be highly illogical. I think that's a waste of their time. I don't see myself as being anyone who is that particularly big compared to other people. Say someone who's just like talking to me on Twitter. I don't see myself as being above them in any real way. Which is probably why I end up responding to them, because I don't see myself as above that conversation.
And that's where I'm saying like the problem is coming in. You see yourself as like somewhat smaller, but once you reach like a certain height, it kind of becomes irrelevant, especially to everyone underneath that height.
I personally would say the fact that you have a successful company where you write for people, the fact that you write lore for VShojo members and a couple other people, I don't know all the people that you do, but the fact that you have this presence, I don't think your follower count is indicative of you being a tiny creator. I think you are massive to a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons.
No,
legitimately.
Not really.
Legitimate. Like here's
Not
the thing:
really.
if you weren't as big as you were, I don't know like your friend contacts. I don't know who you know. That doesn't necessarily matter. But I don't think that if you were as big as you were, that you would have some of the prominence you would with some of these creators.
I think I'm the equivalent of a mediocre scriptwriter they get a hold of sometimes. I wouldn't say I'm anyone of note.
I don't know. And the reason why I disagree is VShojo is big enough that I feel like they could go with anybody, but they go with you, which means that they must like you enough. They must think that
you know, I knew a lot of the people who are in VShojo back when VShojo started out, and that's probably why I was a convenient choice.
But okay, here's the I don't think that they would go with you unless they trusted you, which means that yeah, you do have friends, but even a friend can choose, this person does good, but do I want them to like represent my business with a business decision I want to do? If you weren't as good as you were, I think that they probably could have gone with somebody else. And I see what you were having a little bit of self-depreciation here, and I think that again that's another problem that autistic people
I don't know.
through.
I mean, I think I'm a decent size creator. I do think so. It's not that I don't think so. I've got a decent size audience. I think many people would love to have an audience like mine. I'm not blind to that. I just don't view myself to the same level as a lot of these other people. I see myself as a little bit more of a medium level talent, maybe.
Okay. I mean,
and I think you encounter problems with that because a lot of smaller people would not agree.
Okay. Well, I share the same amount of viewers with a lot of smaller people, so I don't know if the reality reflects that.
Again, like this is we could go on for multiple hours. What makes in different opinions smaller?
I somewhat see where you're coming from, though.
Like
to be fair,
right? If you're just counting CCV, sure, you could consider you could consider yourself closer to somebody like maybe my level because of how many viewers I get now. But your followers and the amount of support.
I guess I'm prevalent. I guess I'm prevalent in the community. I can agree to that.
Okay. I just think that a lot more people know because again, if you wanna say that CCV is indicative of people that know you, there's still a lot more people that know your name and your prominence than me, and I am like I am 1/3 of, at the very least from what I saw today, I sometimes am 1/3 of that. So I don't think that you are that tiny. I think that you are massive, at the very least in the anime world, and the anime world and the VTubing world intersect quite a bunch because that's where VTubing started. So the point that I feel like I'm trying to make is just that your impact is massive. People listen to you, and people take with what you say as gospel sometimes, and people will listen to you. People genuinely listen to you, and I just think that you got to remember that. I mean, how we have to, again, we do that all the time, and we're as tiny as we are. I don't know. I think I've kind of listed the point that I wanted to make. I mean, like talking to you now, I don't necessarily think you're ungrateful. I just don't think you understand what you have, and that's not necessarily a symptom of being ungrateful of things.
No,
I think it's a lack of
I understand
awareness.
what I have is wonderful. I'm thankful every day. I tell my viewers every day how thankful and happy I am.
Then
I think you
cherish
don't.
it.
I don't know if you. I do. I don't know if you watch me normally. You seem to have watched me today when I was like at a low point, but I don't. I don't think you've ever watched a normal stream of mine, have you?
Occasionally, because again, I don't watch
Occasionally.
VTubers very much, mostly just because I
That's
work
fine.
6 days a week. But like,
That's okay.
I occasionally do.
But I cherish it every day. I love my community. And I think anyone watching me would know that. It's nothing to do with that.
I would say just to kind of close it up here. That you really,
You gotta go.
Well, it's less about that, and it's just that you know, we've been talking for 2 hours, and I think for the most part I think that I've hit everything that I kind of thought was important. I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to address on it, but like the point that I was trying to make is just like, cherish them and don't make them feel for a moment that you don't cherish them, because moments like this can make people doubt if you actually cherish them the way that you think you do. And I'm not saying that you're doing that on purpose. I don't think you are. I just think you have moments of weakness and you don't know how to walk through them. And you need to learn to walk through them. Otherwise, people are not going to know what to do.
Okay. I don't. You don't need to tell me to cherish the audience that I'm so happy I have every day. I cherish them very, very much. That's not true. It's untrue. You don't need to remind me of that.
Okay.
Me seeing myself as a medium level creator at times, whether you see that as true or not, I do agree. I'm probably a lot more prevalent than some medium-sized talents around. It does not mean I'm not thankful for the audience I have. I love them dearly. They're my favorite part of creating online right now. So yeah. I mean, it sucks that I was ever in a situation where I felt bad about things unrelated to my audience, that I would vent to them about this kind of thing and put any doubt on that. That sucks. I don't want that to happen again, of course.
Then,
but as you yourself said, it's not always that easy. Right?
No, it's not that easy. However, it is still your responsibility to learn these tools, because if you don't, it will hurt you later. And that
I agree to that. Yeah.
That could either take a friend or a partner if you ever get one in the future. I personally don't know a lot about your personal life, but like if you ever have a partner or a friend, they need to be the right.
I am married to my audience.
Congratulations. But what I'm saying is, you need to establish support and then work on it, because I believe that can be the case. I believe that you can move past those thoughts and feelings, and I only know that because I've learned it myself, and I believe that if everyone can.
I have plenty of support, and I messed up. I messed up today. I may mess up more times than some people think I should, but I do feel like I'm getting better over time at handling these kind of things.
Okay. Well,
I do feel like I'm making actual improvements in how to handle these kind of matters. And there are still matters that confuse me. For an example, if I make a statement and I get a lot of, a big community upset at me, I am likely to apologize. And then other people will call me a pussy and say I should never have apologized. I should never have changed my mind ever. Even if I actually, changed my mind on something. Then that's like a sign of weakness to admit that or something. I don't necessarily agree with that. That's, there's a lot of situations in this kind of online thing that's not as easy as just, never acknowledge anything,
You just need to acknowledge way less.
Yeah, probably. I think that's a fair statement. But again, it's it's one of those things where, what do I choose then? You know, in the moment, you gotta, like, it's easy for you to say, oh, you just don't do this, right? Like, I can say that too. I can look at another creator and say, don't do that, don't do that. Makes no sense. But when you're in that moment, and when you're feeling that anxiety, and when you're having those fears, it's hard to not just like quickly reply and try to clear things up. That's hard when that's like an available option to you. And that there's always this fear that if you don't take this option, that it could lead to something bad. And you can tell me, like, why do you care? Why do you care if this person thinks badly of you now? Well, what if I told you that it makes me sad if they feel like negative emotions towards me now? What if I tell you that, yeah, I maybe it's really, really stupid. Maybe it's really cringe that I care about like one person or two people or 10 people or whatever. But like, I genuinely care. I wish they didn't. I don't want them to feel negatively towards me. It makes me feel like shit.
The only thing I would tell you is somebody will always hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
even just dislike you, there will always be somebody out there in the world that sits in their room staring at a picture of you, seething with the worst hatred you have ever known. And there is no point in worrying about that person.
Well, if you're telling me like some hypothetical person that sees over me now, I can kind of detach myself from that. That doesn't really matter to me. But it's more like being in the situation where I'm seeing someone whose opinion may be changing actively in this moment, and I can prevent it if I just reach out. That's the problem. That is the problem I have. It's not so much trying to make everyone like me and being upset that anyone might dislike me. There's of course people who are going to dislike me, and that's that. But I don't know if you understand me. I don't know if any part of you understands what I'm trying to explain.
We understand. It's that
no, not we.
Believe you're wrong.
Not we. I know your friend understands. I'm more talking about you. Like, do you understand that this is very difficult for me? It seems an easy solution to you, of course.
I understand you see it as difficult. I've never disputed that. However, at a certain point, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, because tonight when we talk about it, I don't want you to be blindsided by anything I say. When it comes down to it, I just don't care. You come off, a lot of times when you talk about this stuff, you just come off as like a huge baby. It's like, I really care about the opinion of these people because I think I can change them. It's like, okay, you do, and I'm not disagreeing that that's what you believe. But at some point, you have to cut your losses, and you just refuse to at like every opportunity.
I mean, well, let me think. So, I agree that I do respond to people too often. That's a problem. But the way you're saying it makes it sound like I'm talking to the same people, continuing to reply to them, and seeking them out. That's not true. That is incorrect. So I don't think that is true, that I refuse to let go of these conversations with these same people. That's not true. It's generally not the same people at all. It's like different people who approach me about this subject that I
with
fail
the
to
amount of information you know about these people, to you it is the same person over and over again because you don't know any of them. You have the exact same amount of zero knowledge about every single person.
No, it's not. It's not true that it's the same person to me. It is. That's incorrect.
I'm talking about objectively speaking, not in your emotions. Objectively speaking, it is the same person over and over.
I see that they're not the same people because I can see their usernames. I can see who these people are. I can see that they are different people.
You don't know any of them, though. It could literally be the same person behind every single account, and you would never know because you don't know that person.
That is true. That could possibly be the case. But I mean, I don't think that some person would have like 40 alternate accounts. That seems a little unlikely to me. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. But like,
the point is not that person has 40 alt accounts. It's not that person has 40 alt accounts and every single one of them is dedicated to hating to you. It's that you literally don't know that person on any level outside of a Twitter profile picture that could mean anything or it could mean nothing. It could be something they picked at random. It could be their dead grandmother. You would never have any idea. So as objectively speaking, to every single person, they are all the same to you. You don't see it that way in your feelings, but objectively speaking, you know the exact same nothing about every single one of them.
Okay. So how does that help me, though?
It's not there to help you. It's there to explain to you that you are just constantly in this war with the same person over and over again because you refuse to see it as the same person.
I don't buy this thing that it's the same person. I don't see that as a very logical argument.
I think Mizu's saying that it's like figuratively, you are fighting with the same person. It's the same argument, just it's a different person.
Well, I agree that it is the same rumor that's like spread. Yeah, I agree with that. That it is the same rumor that's like propped up multiple times from different accounts. Yeah, that is true.
That's all I have to say. I'm just telling you so you're not blindsided. My opinion of you is I like your work, but at the same time I have to be like, you're a baby and you just care way too much.
I mean, didn't I just agree with you on that earlier? I don't see why calling me a baby now helps the situation at all. I mean, I know you're not trying to help the situation, but
I'm just telling you that when I talk about it later, I don't want there to be like anything like, oh, I thought we had an understanding and you weren't going to say that. Like, no, I'm just clarifying that that's where my position stands. And if somebody asks me in the future, that's where it will still be.
Okay. That's not okay. I feel like we agreed though, didn't we?
We do. Yeah.
I don't understand why calling me, like telling me that you're gonna go out there and call me a baby. I mean, you can do that if you like, but I don't like.
I said why, so there's no misunderstanding in the future.
I think.
Okay.
I think we're kind of going in circles now, but I think the purpose of why I was interested in talking to you has kind of been met. I've expressed what I think that the concern / problem really is that you just need to stop caring too much about people on the internet. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what will work if you want to be more successful for yourself.
Well, I mean, we agree, right? We agree. I've been very, I feel like I've been very straightforward with you. That I feel like I'm an oversensitive person that cares about things I probably shouldn't. That tries to, engage with people on the internet that probably aren't going to care if I try to engage with them. I've agreed with you on every point of that. I've tried to be, I've tried to be honest with you and say that this is something I don't like about myself, something I'm actively trying to prevent myself from falling into, and that I wish wasn't a thing about me. I'm trying my very best. Do you disbelieve me?
I think that I'm going to just have to continue observing before I can create.
That's fine. You can, but what I'm trying to say is, I don't know. I just feel very sad. I really like VTubing, and I really want to continue VTubing.
And I don't think you should stop. I think you should continue. And
no, I'm not going to stop. That is one thing about me, is that I don't give up. Even if I feel like shit, I don't actually give up ever.
That's good. That's good.
Nothing can make me give up. But I don't know. I mean, I'm happy you guys like my work. I do wish that our conversation could have, led to. I thought I could explain myself to you.
I think I understand perfectly well where you're coming from. I'm just saying that that's not a healthy way for you to live, and
no,
so I completely understand. I just don't think that you should live that way.
How? Live how?
I don't think you should be living in a way where you constantly worry. That again, just kind of like the overarching theme is you worry too much, and that leads to problems where it will either hurt you emotionally or it could hurt you physically, just based off of what I know. That's
yes.
really all I have to say. And again, I know that we agree on that, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Would you like to end the call then, or?
I mean, if there's anything else you would like to say, we can, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, as we both know, I'm not the best at these kind of situations. I guess I thought perhaps I might talk to you both, and I don't know. I must admit I'm a little blindsided by your friend. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
It's Mizu.
Mizu helps keep me centered, if that makes sense.
That's fine.
Mizu is my friend that keeps me going. So
I just wish we could have found some understanding or something that doesn't just put us right where we were at the beginning, which is you guys feeling like I'm a coward or whatever. Which and then that's it. I would have hoped that you would. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm happy you like my comics, though. That's nice.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things we're trying to say, like, at the end of the day, if both of us walk away thinking you're a baby, how does that actually hurt you in the future?
You keep using that word, baby. I think I'm an anxious wreck. I don't think I'm a literal baby. I think that's a little bit of an odd term to use. Children aren't afraid of internet popularity problems. They're afraid of ghosts, I guess. I don't know what they're afraid of. It's a little bit of a degrading term. I guess you have a freedom to use it, though, if you like. If you both go away like disliking me, I don't know. I guess that sucks. Can't really do much about it.
It's not disliking you, though. It's thinking you have negative attributes that we're not a fan of. Everybody has negative attributes we're not a fan of.
I can actually.
How some of your actions work.
No, I can agree to that. I think it's more the insulting term that I didn't like.
No, yeah, I have a love for everybody. I just dislike. Like, I love family members, but if they do something stupid, I can say, I like you, but I hate what you did.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't want you to walk away thinking that we hate you, because we don't hate you. We just...
No.
Yeah.
I think what I'm mostly afraid of is that you're gonna go do your podcast now, and I'm not gonna be there, and then you're gonna like perpetuate negative things about me now because I wasn't able to defend myself properly or whatever. But I guess that doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, part of the reason why I did this recording, or just wanted to record this, is so that we could share it with our audience and so that they could see what we were talking about.
Okay.
I think that characterization confuses me because I did just tell you exactly what I'm gonna say, and you
Yeah,
even
you're gonna
said
say
that
that.
we agreed that you agreed with that.
Yeah, I know. I think it's more the insulting term that made it feel a little bit different than what we agreed on.
Well, I said pretty clearly, like, that's how I started that conversation.
Yeah, okay, so let me try and level with you. So it's like, we both agree that I have a problem of replying to people. We both agree on that, right? We both agreed on that from the beginning. But then you end the conversation by saying, I don't want you to, be blindsided, but I'm gonna go around telling everyone you're a baby. That comes across as a little strange to me.
That's not what I
the
said, though.
term,
He said he
isn't it?
I said when we get around to the stream tonight and I have to tell people my perspective on it, I'm going to tell people that same as it always was, I kind of think you're a baby and you care too much.
Okay.
It's not,
Well,
I'm
you
going to
can
run
say
around
that.
telling everybody I know you're a big baby or that I hate you or anything like that. It's saying, when we talk about this specific conversation, I'm going to again tell my followers that he didn't really change my perspective. I still think he's oversensitive. Like, it's not.
Okay. Well, I was not. Let me make it absolutely clear. I wasn't trying to change your perspective on that I'm oversensitive. That was never my intention. I never tried to change your perspective on me being oversensitive because I think I am oversensitive. I think that's a problem. What I have tried to do was not excuse that I'm oversensitive. It is merely explain to you why, like what kind of anxiety swells up inside me when it comes to these kind of things. There's always that anxiety in me. I never tried to excuse that I was oversensitive. I never tried to explain, no, wait, see, maybe that's a misunderstanding. I don't know. Maybe that's because I made it seem like an excuse. Am I misreading something?
No, the only real issue with it is that anytime it comes up, you kind of bring up the anxiety thing, which, yes, you do have anxiety, and that probably causes, like, a level of how you react to things. But if your only response to people ever bringing that up is, but I have anxiety, it starts to come off more like an excuse.
Do you feel like that was the only thing I said?
I'm not saying that's the only thing you said, but in that entire paragraph you just gave us, it ultimately ended with, I have anxiety, I'm just giving, like, an explanation. Okay, but you didn't really do anything to address the issue necessarily.
Okay, would you two mind? I know you two kind of want to wrap up. It seems like. Would you two mind if I reiterate what I want to say then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So no, I wasn't trying to excuse it by saying I have anxiety. Anxiety is the problem. It's not something that makes it okay. It's not something that solves the problem by mentioning. I don't think that way. My problem is that I'm oversensitive. My problem is that I have this issue where I do care way too much about what people think about me. I have fear that I have fears, as I've stated multiple times, probably a little bit more eloquent, that if I don't give my side, that people might begin to hate me over it, and maybe maybe it might even end up becoming people who are part of my fan base. Maybe my fan base, maybe my viewers that I actually care about, not the random internet people, but the actual people that I care about, might change their mind. And logically, I don't think most of them would, because most of them probably wouldn't just take some random word from some random guy about it. But that is the problem. It is not a logical fear. It is just a very prevalent fear, and that is the reason why I have this problem where I feel like I gotta reply to people if they say something that I do not view as true, or people bring up this old problem that happened years ago or a year ago or whatever, That in those situations, I feel like I have to reply to them. And that's a problem because I shouldn't do that. And I do think I need to. I do think I need to stop being a coward. And I've tried over the years to, you know, in different ways, improve myself. As I've mentioned with my comics, I don't delete them anymore. Even with the level of backlash, I've kind of steeled my mind for that. But with VTubing, it sometimes blindsides me still. Even if I try to, you know, prepare myself for it, it comes from angles I don't expect. During situations I don't expect, which makes it harder for me to like. Yeah, it makes it harder for me. But I'm trying. I'm continuously trying, and to get better at handling being online and making content, because I really enjoy it.
Then continue making it. Just continue making it and continue improving. That's really the only advice I can close out with, honestly.
Sure.
I appreciate you taking the time. Again, I know you're a fairly big creator. You've got a lot of people that you have to take care of and manage. So I appreciate you taking the time with us. It's very much appreciated. Again, I did just want to make sure, for transparency's sake, is it okay if we use this recording at some point later to show your perspective? Because I don't want to like just try and repeat what you said. I want to show your perspective so that people can understand from your point of view, from your mouth.
Sure.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure about that.
If you don't like take clips of it and cut it around, I guess.
I
don't know.
We love to get the full context here on this channel.
Okay.
We will play.
But I mean, one thing that I don't know if I'm a little bit iffy about the idea of you like replaying it and then talking over me, you know, like pausing it and then replying to me when I can't reply. That's a little odd to me.
No.
I don't know.
We pause when we need to. I feel like we do a pretty good job of listening to something and then pausing it if we actually have something to say. So.
Okay.
And I think I might just upload it as a raw on YouTube as well, for people that want to hear it without our constant stops and breaks.
Okay.
So.
Is that it, Mizu? Is there any acknowledgement from you that I haven't, in fact, deleted any comics in years?
I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm just taking your word for it. Okay. See, that's kind of my point, is that people just sort of believe these things that happened, like based on something that happened years ago. But I guess I can't control that. I mean, I didn't say anything about like recent ones. So it's not like I'm believing something that happened years ago and I'm saying you did this last week. I'm just saying this is something I know for a fact you've done in the past, and it just has colored my perception of how you deal with things.
Do you think that I shouldn't have if our illustrators were getting harassed? Do you think I should just say like...
I've always been of the opinion that you should just ignore internet harassment.
Okay. Do you... Okay, sure. I don't always think it's that easy, especially when it's not me, you know, that's getting harassed necessarily. It's a little hard when it's someone else, you know. Like me, you know, you can just say, you know, take it. But telling me to tell someone else to just take it, that's a little difficult.
I mean, if that's your perspective, that's fine. That's just, I don't necessarily agree.
That's okay. So you think I should just tell them to take it?
I would tell them the same thing I tell you. It's internet people. You don't like them, block them.
Okay.
I mean, like you're saying this thing of, so you would say I would tell them that. It's like, well, I'm telling you that right now. Why wouldn't I tell them that? I would have the same opinion regardless of who it was.
Okay. That's fair. Is there any way we can end this conversation somewhat amicably?
I
mean, I didn't think we were mad at you.
No, again, I don't think either of us hate you at all. I just find some of the things that happen concerning. I will still continue to enjoy your comics when they come out and I can listen to them. I'll still continue to enjoy that. If you do something in the VTubing scene that I think is interesting, I will enjoy that. I
Okay.
don't want to give the impression that I ever hated you as a person, because I don't hate you as a person, and I don't think level-headed people
No,
just randomly hate
I guess I just struggle with figuring out whether this conversation even went.
I think I learned a few things, so.
Okay. I guess this is another example of, talking to people online. Nothing I say is gonna matter anyway. Is that it?
I don't think so. I think that me personally, I have to internalize this conversation, maybe listen to it back if I have the ability to. But I do believe that you've shared things with me that I find are important. My perspective, again, yeah. I don't know. I my apologies. My mom is texting me wildly. She really needs to get a hold of me right now. I don't know what she needs, but
That's okay.
I unfortunately cannot stay at all anymore.
That's okay.
So
you have a good one.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yep. You have a good one. Thank you.
See you around.
Yep. All right. Bye, Mary.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, that happened.